I'm Erlinda Patterson. Welcome. This is Essence Tabletalk, your television program. We want to thank you for letting us be home with you right now. We have a wonderful team of people who are going to share some wonderful information that you need to be aware of, okay? So I want to thank our guests for being here today. Thank you. I am so excited that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. First of all, here to my right, to my left, my left, I have Mary Visor. Mary, thank you for being here.
Glad to be here.
And you are a powerful community advocate. You do so much volunteering. I want to hear about some of that later. Okay?
Thank you.
And I have another unique special guest who is retired from the San Bernardino County as Deputy Executive Officer for Human Services. And get this, First Lady Tanya Bratton from Greater Faith Grace Bible Church.
Amen.
And its location is 249 East Randall and here in Rialto. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And may I call you First Lady?
If you like. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I also have a wonderful lady who does great work for the people, the underserved population. Thank you so much. We have Angie Fierro, and you are a field agent, OPS of America. It's a government-funded program.
That's correct.
And I have seen you in so many locations. You really get around, don't you?
I sure do.
You do. Wow. Wow.
It's thanks to the people.
Yes. And you provide a wonderful service. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. You know, Essence Table Talk is about many little subjects. And one of the concerns for me, I went yesterday and I put $25 of gas and the needle barely moved. It barely moved. Has anybody had that experience or an experience they want to share?
Well, I have one from this morning, actually. It's quite interesting. I do have to tell you that I'm a Costco gas person, so I always go to just one Costco in one city, and I know when I need gas, and I want to just fill up. So today they were doing maintenance, and I was like, okay, where am I going to go? I guess I went back towards my house again, and I went into a Shell gas station. Well, I don't really pay attention to gas prices, but as the thing was rolling to like $68, I'm like, okay, it's almost done. It almost hit 108.
108?
Yes.
Oh my.
$6.70 for gas today in the city of Upland. So,
wow.
Yeah, that was like I didn't complain about it, but I was like, well, I guess everyone's paying this price and the piper, so I just put it in. I just let it go and took it in stride, and thank God that I have a car to put gas in.
Absolutely. You know, rising oil prices in 2022, 8.3 million barrels of petroleum was imported to the United States. 8.3. And they came mostly from Canada, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Mexico, and Colombia. And it's almost close to $8 now.
Yeah.
And I wonder why it could be going up so much. You know, I heard the governor speaking this morning on TV, and he was very upset about the gas price.
He was?
The gas prices. He was very upset. So it's a really unique situation.
Yeah.
It really is. So, you know, we have a lot of programs that exist to help our people. And one of the programs that you have, could you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So my company is called, that I work for and represent, I'm a field agent for OPS of America. It stands for Outreach Program Services of America. And what I think you all remember when Obama was in office, he gave away phones. When Trump was in office, he gave away stimulus checks. So now our president is giving away tablets with free internet service all across the nation. Anywhere you go, you'll connect to a T-Mobile tower as a participant, not as a customer. So yeah, I mean, that's an amazing way of having a device that you don't have to pay internet for, and that the government intercepts for that. Two different ways to get it. One through government benefits like Medi-Cal, EBT, Social Security, being a veteran of our country, and the WIC program. Other way is through W-2, like your income from 2022 or your last 3 months of bank statements. I mean, bank check stubs. So it's just been a great program, and it's a one-time activation fee, $11. You don't have to pay anything after that. The tablet is yours to keep. And it's beautiful because that specific the value is not in the actual device. The value is in the SIM card. So anyone that gets a tablet can remove that SIM card and put it in another tablet or put it in another iPad. So it really does help out whoever doesn't want to get used to a new tablet when they already have an iPad or already have an existing tablet and they don't want to conform to the one they have, but they can take that SIM card out and put it in there.
Wow.
Yes.
That's wonderful. That's I didn't know that.
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness.
And the beauty about it too is that you don't have to connect it to your Wi-Fi at home because it has its own internet. So let's say you never actually want to connect it because the government wants you to continue to use the internet.
Of course.
And after so much time, like after 31 days, it gets disconnected. So it's always good just to continue to use it. So yeah, that's pretty much what, I mean, it's offered to anyone in the community that has government benefits or that works and pays their taxes.
Yeah, well, in today's world, our children need to be hooked up with the internet.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And a lot of families cannot afford it. So this would be a good way for a parent to get it for their child's use and for education, because my granddaughter went with her daddy, with my son, they went to Berkeley to go check out the college, right? And she left her iPad in the car, her phone, you name it, she left it in the car. When they came back from the tour, everything was stolen.
Oh.
And it was very expensive to replace everything.
Yes.
So when the government provides something for us, we definitely should utilize that service.
Absolutely. It's a great advantage for homes that can't afford or that are just, on a tight budget or can't get internet.
So I'm pretty sure that we're going to have all that information,
Yes.
on the screen so that people can contact you
Yes.
and see how they can get their iPad,
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I really love that program. I really do. It's something that, your great-grandchildren could use, your grandchildren could use as well. Yeah. So tell me, First Lady, if I may ask you, you have been the choir director for how many years at Greater Faith?
Oh man, a long time, over 30 years, I could say.
Wow. All your marriage, 30.
We've been married 38 years.
38 years?
37.
So, wow.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to go back and do the math.
So, I
36, it'll be
see your monthly reports or your quarterly reports that you send out. They're beautifully done. So the work that you did for the county was somewhat similar. Is that right? I mean, what kind of work did you do? I mean, what did you do? May I ask?
Oh, sure. So I was the Deputy Executive Officer for Human Services and basically also the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. So those reports that I produced for church, didn't have to do that because I had staff to do that. But I just reviewed them and make sure that, we were staying within the budget when there's budget crunch. So I'm pretty sure they're kind of nervous right now, the government shutting down. So I know back in the office, they're frantically thinking about how much reserves do they have if the government is to shut down. What can they do to keep services going? Because that's what the funds are really for. And human services is all about, humans, so people. So to make sure some services, they don't shut down, like for TAD, the Family Fresh, I don't want to I've been retired almost 2 years now. These
Kind of
these
like-
terms
like
are now
family,
leaving my. I don't want to
uh,
call the old thing that they used to be,
Right,
but
right. Like the food giveaways and all this.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
that
food
still
services
continue.
that's continuing. Yeah, they
Mhm.
those kind of services continue, but the other things that are happening that aren't like the final need or things like that, those can probably shut down.
Wow.
So
Wow. That's going to be kind of tough.
Well, when is all this supposed to happen? Is it like, is there a specific
Friday, isn't it?
deadline?
it was tomorrow.
tomorrow?
Friday.
Tomorrow.
Mhm.
And what are they shutting down for? I don't really recall the situation because I don't really watch the news.
Well, the budget hasn't been reinstated or
They haven't approved the budget. Yeah.
Right.
The government's budget starts October 1, so that's
Ah,
why.
Mhm.
So from October 1 to September 30th is
That
the
makes
federal
sense.
government's budget time frame. So
But
they're
they
trying
keep
to
extending it for just a short period of time.
Right.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why don't we extend it for the year?
Because they want there's certain items in. There's different groups that want. Well, if I'm going to approve this budget, you got to approve this program that I want, or
Well, I've heard,
so-
I've heard some of the things they want to cut. They want to cut children's lunches.
what?
In
Why are they going to start with
schools.
starving children?
I mean, some of the children that we have here in America, that's the only meal they'll get. I mean, there are very poor families in this world, and they look forward to that free meal,
Wow.
and that's one of the things they want to cut. And then they want to say, what? For a general to get a $1 a year salary because they don't like him?
Mm.
I mean, it's madness.
it's politics.
Politics. So let's kind of go away from that. But college of Long Beach, they just said and voted the Board of Trustees to raise 6%
The fees.
fees in fees in the first of the year. How will our people be able to afford to pay all that money back? We want professionals. We want people that are educated. But how are we going to get them if we keep bringing them down?
Exactly.
I have 3 grandchildren right now going to be registered nurses. They are in debt already.
Wow. Yeah.
So they'll be paying for a few years
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
for being registered nurses.
Right.
So, and now you're going to go another 6%? Now, I haven't seen what Cal State Inland Empire is doing. But if one university is going up, more than likely another one will follow. But I feel for our people.
Yeah.
Is it the Cal State system that's going up?
Yes.
So
Just the
probably,
Cal
Oh,
State.
they'll
Yeah.
probably all
6%.
go up.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I'm saying, how are starving students going to pay already? We have right now, and even in the local colleges, we have kids that are going to college that are homeless.
What?
Homeless.
Wow.
Living in a car, living under a bridge. Now, I know you have experience in dealing with homeless.
Yes, I do.
So you want to share a little bit about that?
The scenery is horrific. When we go out into the community and we see men, women, their animals, they're under a bridge, for safety, and it's just that it's like their home,
It is a
And-
home.
and they have needs. Remember, we saw individual in a bed, had a bed. She was sick, and she was under the bridge, in the bed, and her companion was getting the food and the backpacks and bags that we had for them. It was really sad. It was really sad to see, and we just need some services out there that is available to allow us to tap into, to get some resources, to get our people in housing.
So
Yes.
this is through the San Bernardino County we're talking about, right?
This
where
is
the
what we're
homeless
talking
is?
about, yes.
The homelessness.
Mhm.
So what does the county say about resources for people that are homeless, living under bridges and in their cars? What is the,
Can I share a thought on
Sure.
that? I went to a meeting recently with the county,
oh,
and some funding that was given to some of the groups went back to the government
Mm.
because they didn't utilize it. Some of the groups don't want to share.
Mm.
They don't want to share. So they do what they need to do or think they need to do, and then that funding is left there. I have written letters to other groups asking them to share before they refund that money to the government, and I have no answers.
wow.
So, I mean, yes, you want to be known as a wonderful group. You want to be known as an activist that does great work, for the homeless and unsheltered, the mentally challenged, our youth. You want to be that. But you also want to help that other team.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Because when you join together,
You help more the masses.
you're abiding,
Mhm.
you're working
Yeah,
to help the people.
I didn't know that.
And you're right. It is almost tear jerkers, huh?
It really is. It
Oh,
really is.
to see some of that stuff.
Mhm.
But we continue. We continue.
We continue to do what we do.
When you
That's
mentioned
it.
about the homeless students, the
Yes.
program that I was trying to mention earlier came to my mind,
Oh,
Cal
good.
Fresh.
Good.
Oh,
And so the students now can get on Cal Fresh. So that's something that would help them, especially if they're
What is
Homeless.
CalFresh?
EBT.
EBT.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
And I have a
Good.
lot of those starving students that come to my table also.
oh, hallelujah. Thank you,
And they
Lord.
So
do
they
get
can-
devices.
Yeah.
So how do they contact CalFresh?
So
Go to the computer?
Go to their local transitional assistance department. It's called
Uh-huh.
TAD. And CalFresh is a program. So
Uh-huh.
if they go to that department, they're in different cities.
Mhm,
There's one in East Highland and those
Each
different-
city probably has one.
Mhm. Fontana
go-
has one.
You can go online too. and
Rialto
apply.
is here
Yeah.
on Valley. You can
Uh-huh.
probably go online, but they can apply for CalFresh
Good.
as students. I mean, that was a new program that was expanded before I retired,
Mhm.
so that students can get on CalFresh. So
That's
so
wonderful.
they'll at least be able to be fed.
At least be fed.
Mhm.
Right. And there are a lot of wonderful, churches and groups that are very positive and do work together.
Mhm.
But there are some that don't want to do that, And that's the part that I get a little perturbed about,
Yeah, sharing the resources is what.
Yes. This
for
is
the
what it's
community.
about.
Exactly.
Working together with other groups.
Yes.
Greater Faith, Grace Bible Church, is working for the holidays with St. Timothy's,
Oh,
to
nice.
reach the homeless.
Mhm.
So it's a wonderful situation to work as a team. And you get twice as much coverage
Right.
in helping people.
wow. And the number of people that you're going to be able to reach out to.
And what exactly do you give out?
Well, we give out personal items, personal hygiene. We give snacks, sandwiches, drinks, a lot of hygiene,
Yeah.
and backpacks.
Oh, nice backpacks,
Socks.
huh?
Yes.
Oh, good.
The necessities.
And
huh?
all of the necessities that a person would need that is unhoused, living on their own.
Right.
That's nice.
It's spectacular. I remember a lady came to the church one day and she said she had a lot of blankets. I want to meet you at the church. So I said, I'll be there. And she came and she had a brown bag like this. And I said, oh, she's had a lot of blankets. Maybe they're in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were little silver things that you open and they got real big.
Oh,
But you wrap them around you and they're warm.
yeah. I think I know which ones you're talking about that people use for camping.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And I said, oh my God, what a gift. Because, just
A little
that
packet.
simple. I was waiting for a big old
Yeah.
blanket, but this one silver blanket, it was huge. You know, I opened one to see what it was about, and it was warm.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh my God!"
So are they wrapped small enough to fit inside the backpack?
Yes, they were half as big as this card,
Oh
like
my
that,
goodness.
Wow.
silver. And we gave out a lot of those, you know, one year. It was just spectacular.
That's probably what the military uses when they're out on
Probably.
battle.
Well, I hope they use green because they're too
There you
bright. They
go.
don't want to be
That's-
seen.
Yeah, you're
They're
right.
too bright.
Maybe they have different colors.
Yeah, maybe they have different colors, but they were so wonderful, you know, they really, really were. But you know, it is happening, and more seniors, older people are getting out there too, being homeless,
Yes.
because there's more of us seniors. Well, not you guys, but more of us seniors out there, you know.
Yes, there is.
And the economy is so bad
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes, you know, I've heard of a one bedroom for $2,200.
Yep.
Yeah.
One bedroom, you know, and then when a senior owns a home, if all he or she lives on is Social Security, and the plumbing breaks,
Yeah.
and this breaks, or they need a new roof,
Yeah.
and that's the only check they're living on,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people don't have a pension,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of people are losing their homes,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Mm.
And they're being part of what's being the explosion of homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I think what's been a blessing too is I know for many people, COVID hasn't been a blessing because a lot of people did pass away
Of course.
from that.
Mhm.
And but the blessing for those that are still here, they were able to hold off on their house
Payments?
mortgages. And now they've starting to release as of 2 months ago, little by little, all the ones that can't either remodify or get a new loan. They're putting all those people into foreclosure now.
Right.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. It's
Right.
going to be huge. We're going to start seeing so much more homes for sale, people losing them at
Absolutely.
the auctions. So,
Mhm. A lot of empty houses that are going to be torn apart because
yes.
no one's going to be able to buy them.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see a lot of what do we see? And I don't want to actually say it, but you know, a lot of empty buildings.
Yeah.
A lot of empty buildings. A lot of people just staying there, you know, without lights, starting a fire in the house, burning up.
Mm-hmm. You mean
lot.
squatters, huh?
Squatters.
Oh, yeah, squatters, a lot of them.
Yeah, it's good. That's what's going to happen.
I remember in the mid 2000s, I was a real estate investor during that time, and I had found 2 properties next door to each other. A man signed them over to our company. I went to check them out, and because we paid all cash for them, when I walked in, there was 2 people in there, and you know they were doing drugs. And I said, "I'm sorry, you guys cannot be here." You know, I stepped outside and I called them out, and that's what they do. They squat, and I said, "You guys can't do this. You guys have to leave." And they were really nice enough to leave because
Right.
sometimes you have to be ejected through a court order
You were
because
very
they
fortunate.
have rights. They have rights too.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's just so much to this subject, you know. It's a sad subject,
It
but
is.
it needs to be discussed. People at home need to hear what our opinions or our emotions and feelings are about it so that they can make up their own ideas about what they believe in as well,
Yeah.
you know. And we're going to go to commercial, okay?
All right.
And then we'll come back and I'm going to give you some statistics as to how many seniors are going to be homeless soon.
Mm.
All right, we'll be right back.
The Rialto Fire Department is determined to get our message about fire safety out to the citizens of Rialto. The National Fire Protection Association, which is the official sponsor of Fire Prevention Week, announced this year's theme as Cooking Safety Starts With You. With so many families that are preparing meals at home, fire safety has never been more important because cooking accidents is the #1 cause of home fires and home fire injuries. The Rialto Fire Department has our friends Suey the Duck and Sparky the Fire Dog to show you the do's and don'ts of fire safety in the kitchen. Just to recap the information provided by Stewie and Sparky, remember to stay in the kitchen when you're frying, boiling, and grilling food. Now, if you're simmering, baking, or roasting food, check on it regularly and stay at home. Always keep a lid nearby when cooking. If a small grease fire starts, slide the lid over the pan and turn off the burner. Leave the pan covered until it's cool. Keep anything that can catch fire away from the stove, like rags or kitchen cloths. Loose clothing can hang onto a stove burner and catch fire. Remember to wear short, close-fitting, and tightly rolled sleeves when cooking. If you have children, have a kid-free zone of at least 3 feet around the stove and areas where hot food and drinks are being prepared. Cooking safety is just as important as having smoke alarms, carbon monoxide, and fire extinguishers inside the home. Smoke and carbon alarms detect and alert people to fire and gas in the early stages. These alarms can mean the difference between life and death. Please remember to test your alarms at least once a month by using the test button. Again, please follow these fire safety rules while at home with your family. It's important to think safe to be safe.
Welcome back. That was very interesting, wasn't it? Oh, I love watching that. Thank you. Anyway, welcome back to Essence Table Talk, your television program. And again, I'm here with some wonderful people. And we were talking about some statistics about seniors and the homeless, okay? And I was reading on the internet, 2.5 million residents over 60. The population is expected to rise 250% in the coming decades. This was data from the California Department of Aging. Can you imagine? So how many people are going to be on the streets that can't pay that rent? That can't pay that payment on that house? If all they live on is Social Security and the rents keep going up, you go to the store and buy a gallon of milk, it's $5. You go buy a gallon of gas, it's almost $7, $8. You're going to have, or we already have, seniors working at Walmart.
Yes.
Thank God that they can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some sick ones that can't.
Yeah, that's correct.
You know, and so what are we doing? I understand that there was a program that was discussed by the Department of Aging and Homeless, and they said that in 12 years they could solve the problem, but it would take them, oh gosh, $1.8 billion a year,
Oh,
okay, for 12 years. But the outcome would be no more homeless. People would have homes.
That'd be great.
It would be great. However, the government wouldn't want to spend that. I mean, we're already sending money back that we don't use.
Mm-hmm. And where does that money go anyway when you send it back?
Well, it goes back to the government. There's a budget. Where does it go? Do you know, First Lady?
It goes back to the federal government,
It goes-
whoever was the funding source.
Whoever was the
So,
funding source.
mhm.
And what do they do with it? Give it,
It
out to
goes back
another?
to the budget, and they re-budget, just like how they're trying to do right now for the
Oh,
new budget.
I see.
So,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. And this is a terrible situation. I don't even want to think about.
And most of these funds came because of COVID.
Right.
So when COVID hit, they were trying to find ways to get the homeless people off of the streets, because, they were dying.
They
too
were
because
dying.
of COVID. So, there was different programs out there. There was temporary housing through hotels that the county had rented and put homeless individuals there. And then those agencies that funding was for were also doing their ground roots in the areas where their agencies reside. So,
Well, there's not only just homeless, that people that can't get work, there's mental challenges out there. People with mental illness
right.
that are not getting the help with resources that we have.
yeah.
There are programs, but they live. You know, what I've seen personally, I saw it. Under a bridge, they dig a hole into the wall, dirt, and they live there like a little cave with their dog. It is weird. It is so weird. Now, I recently read that I believe the supervisors and the city of San Bernardino is making a hub at Patton State Hospital
Oh,
for some of the buildings to be used for homeless. It's a project they're working on, from what I understand. But what are the qualifications, and how are we going to let our people know out there that this place exists for them?
Right.
You know, so it's going to take groups like yours
right.
giving them information
Exactly.
about how to contact others. So you don't just feed them.
No, we do. We give information on how to reach out to the different organizations to be able to obtain whatever that person may need as a resource to get that to them. And it's really sad to see that so many of our senior people that are out on the street are getting sick, and it's because they don't know where to go or where to turn to as a resource for help.
Right. So that
So
that'd be veterans. That would be just regular folks.
yes,
A lot of veterans out there too, huh?
absolutely, absolutely. You'd just really be surprised at the number of people, elderly people that are homeless,
As
that
well.
are under the bridges and on the street and laying on the sidewalk and on the bus benches. It's really a sad sight to see here in America.
But you know what I find also disturbing is not just the fact that what is happening in our area, but in another state, they brought in some illegal people that came into our country, and they went and dropped them off at a hotel, and they kicked out our veterans. So people from outside of our country can come sleep in there at the hotels. Yeah. Yeah, that was just recently on the news, like within the last couple of weeks.
It's kind of like a double-edged sword.
It is, and
Because
go
They
ahead.
are still human beings. They are still people, those coming from other
Yeah.
countries. And still our people here too are suffering.
Yeah,
So
and they
how-
served our country, and they got kicked out.
Right. Oh. Yeah, I read some of that, yeah. Well, you know, we're not going to solve that problem, but you continue
No.
to do the work that you do at your church.
Thank
I
you.
think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
The Compassion Homeless Outreach Group is wonderful.
And we'd like more resources. We know the winter is coming, the season is changing, and we need blankets and sweatshirts and sweaters and caps and gloves and
Scars.
scarves and coats, you know, to be able to lend a hand.
Hey,
to
you know
those
what'd
that
be
are in
really
need.
good too? Those things that you pop and then they get warm, and you can put them on your hands.
That's a good idea too, yeah.
That'd be, yeah, you know, so they can keep warm. Because
Yes.
what is the one thing that gets cold, right? Your hands and your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a
So
great idea.
definitely.
So I'm pretty sure that our studio director will put that information about how to contact you, so that in case someone at home wants to make a donation, absolutely, I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mary, for doing that. Let's go to another subject. Let's leave. We're not going to solve the world's big problem in California today.
Don't worry
But
about
Maybe
it.
not even tomorrow, but
Right. You're right. Maybe
Work
not
in
even tomorrow.
progress.
But you know, we're talking about it. And the more people hear about it, the more might be done.
yes.
And let's continue to do that. But right now, let's go to another one. Gun violence. Ooh. I have, in the year 2021, children deaths from firearms in California was 2,571.
Here in our state?
children died.
Wow, that's wow.
And every 3 hours, someone is shot and dies.
That's a lot of people.
That is powerful information. Okay. And like Judge Mathis was saying a couple of days ago when I was listening to him, he says, "You're not going to fool me." He says, "I was 16 and carrying a gun. I know
I remember his
what you're
testimony.
about." See, he lived in that area, in that arena, in that life, and pulled himself out
That's right.
and became a famous judge. You know, so again, and I don't want to start preaching here, but people can be rehabilitated.
Yes, they can.
The homeless out there that we're talking about, that
Yes, they
Joe
can.
sitting out there, who knows? He might be one of the world's best preachers. So when you're doing the work out there, you never know whose life you're going to touch. So continue on, girl. Anyway, let's go back to gun violence. Anyway, I'm having so much fun with you ladies. You guys are great.
Same here.
You know, children, a lot of times the parent of the child leaves the gun in the dresser. How would we not mandate that guns be put in lockbox?
Lock.
Mandate that when the gun is sold, to sell it with a lockbox or something.
So are these guns that have killed children, like for instance the one year of 2500, are they all legal guns?
I wouldn't
Yeah,
think so.
How many are
also a
legal?
question.
How many are
No.
illegal?
Well,
so
I mean, does it make a difference?
Right.
The child is gone, you know, one way or another. And then, you know, you hear on the news occasionally where they go and they do, let's say the police will go to someone's home and they'll find tons of guns, a gun collector. Why do you want to collect so much death supply?
I guess people just have like a fetish for certain things or a habit for certain things,
Hobby.
you know, like a hobby,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
cars, guns.
And, you know, since every 3 hours someone is killed with a gun in California, should there be more restrictive firearm laws?
You'll definitely have
so.
pushback. We should.
Well,
but-
you know,
Yeah,
let's
you
not go
know.
to the National Rifle Association.
Right.
Let's not go there, because no telling who'll be knocking on your door tonight. You know? But their theory is if you start making laws against my owning a gun, pretty soon you're going to take my rights away. So they have, oh gosh, 5 million members in NRA. Okay? 5 million people or more now who believe that, you know, what is it in Texas? You can walk around with a
yes,
gun
a
in your
concealed
hip.
weapon.
Why do we need that? I mean, I'm going to the market. Why do I need a gun on my hip?
I guess you just never know for safety.
Yeah, he'll feel protection.
Yeah.
Use it, have it for the protection. Yeah, my daughter recently moved to North Carolina, and she realized she was seeing like, what is that on their hip? Because you know, here in California, that's
Right.
not the thing. And she was just like, wow, they can walk around with guns. So
Or they can have them in their car, in their truck or whatever. Have a little gun rack in there, and they can have a rifle, shotgun.
Yeah, the NRA or the I forgot what the other symbol is, but there's a license in 35 states, but California is not one of them for you to carry a concealed weapon.
Right. Right. Well, there's a lot of danger with guns, you know, a lot of danger with guns.
because you know, and remember in 2019 where it was someone that was shot just next door to our church.
Oh,
at
Yes,
249.
yes, yes.
Remember your son-in-law wasn't son-in-law yet, but
Yeah.
was going to be.
Yeah.
Was on the news, and at the time, the students that from the middle school would
Right, they were-
walking by, and so they would stop at his booth, and he would talk to them and share God with them. And then you hear all this shooting going on. And so you see him grabbing the kids and running into our
running for
church.
safety.
He ran back and grabbed, I think he was your son-in-law then, because
Well,
he grabbed
Boomer,
your grandchild.
Boomer Bennett,
Yeah,
yeah.
he grabbed your grandchild too. I remember seeing them in the video, and it was, I mean, they interviewed him. I know he was shooken up, but he was, handled that like a man. But
Amen to
that was
that.
right next door to
Right
our
next
church.
to the church, to a church.
And the other person was like a 16-year-old that got shot.
Oh,
Did he pass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
They passed.
Well, that's going to be continuing and happening, and unfortunately, we're losing many lives. But they, NRA does have their rights, and they have the money to fight the battle against us putting restriction on some restriction. No, I'm not a person to say you can't own. But be careful. Be careful with what you have.
I mean, we need education, people, to properly store, just some announcements, commercials even about how to store your firearm if that's what you're going to have. in your
Right.
home. Just like we talk about having a way of escape when there's an earthquake or there's a fire.
Oh,
So
yes.
why don't we do
That-
things like that for firearms?
That is important too, for our families, to have these group meetings. Like here we are sitting together for a family, let's do this. Let's talk about what are you going to do if, let's say, an earthquake, a fire. We had a fire next to our condo, right next door. The whole thing was on fire. And it looked like my place was going to burn down. And all I could grab was my dog and my robe and grab my husband out because he was trying to grab stuff. I said, get out of here, And the whole place next door, just 10, 15 feet away from me, burned down. And the only thing I could grab was a robe. But today I have a bag in the downstairs closet. I have some of his pills in there. I have some of those old-fashioned wafers in there, some bottles of water, his allergy pills, all this stuff in case
Right.
there's a opportunity to grab it.
Exactly, an opportunity.
An opportunity to grab it because we don't know how
We
bad
don't
it's going to be.
Right.
We don't know what kind of disaster or whatever is going to happen.
Right. Anything could happen, Anything can happen. So families need to unite and talk about those things as well. They need to talk about the safety of the ammunition, the guns they have at home.
Right.
They need to teach that child, you don't go in there. And above all, they need to observe their children.
But parents also too need to be responsible.
Right.
I think that's where it actually starts, because if you're going to be leaving something like that around, you're just opening up the floodgates for a disaster to happen.
Right. And a lot of parents that own the gun that the little child killed the other child with, a lot of times that happens. The baby wants to play
They don't know
cops and
anything.
robbers or whatever. The parent goes to prison.
That's right. They're responsible.
But then they also go into an emotional prison for the rest of their lives
Yes.
because they lost a child.
Both of them, they're not even around either one now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is something that we need to talk about for safety. Just like we teach a kid, don't open the door.
Just strange. Don't talk to
Don't
strangers.
talk to strangers.
Right. right. Even if they say, my name is Tommy, I'm no longer a stranger.
Yeah. Well,
Yes, you are.
yes, you
Yeah.
are.
Well, I remember when my kids were little, we had a code.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't an acronym. It was the name of our church, a whole complete. And I said, if no one gives you that whole name of our church, then you better, not go with anybody. But I would be the one to always
That's
be there.
brilliant.
hmm
That was brilliant.
I said, nobody knows our code but the four of us here, me and my three girls. Not even their dad.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
You were a very wise mother.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very wise mother. Yes, yes, yes. You have children, First Lady?
Yes,
Yeah. How many do you have?
we have a total of 4.
4?
Mhm.
Oh,
All
goodness, goodness, grown kids. Ah, gosh. And I think you're a grandma now.
Yes, I'm grandma 2 times now.
Nice.
that-
I'm not even a grandma yet.
First grandchild is grown as well, and then we have a newborn.
A newborn.
Yes.
Ah, they're fun, aren't they?
Congratulations.
Oh, gosh, they are a lot of fun. You know, one of the things that I love being here in the city of Rialto, I've been doing this television program, for a while here. Our other co-host isn't here today, Kimberly. She is in Vegas having
Oh,
fun.
Kimberly.
Nice.
Hi, Kimberly. We love you. But she'll be here next month, and I'm excited for that. But this show has been a lot of fun today, discussing some of these issues,
Yes.
that people need to hear about. They need to hear what regular people think about that. We turn on channel 49, 46, 52, whatever, and we hear politics, news. A truck drives into people, this and that. We need to talk about things that are real things in our lives,
Yeah.
in our homes. And we need to talk about groups that exist like yours and yours.
Yes.
Absolutely. Why did your group start anyhow? Why?
We started because we saw there was a need. And we wanted to come together with the community to be able to support that need and able to give and to help others. And we started. Well, we've given out like 619 backpacks
Wow.
to the community. And we go out every quarter. We're going out, and we hope to increase that number by going out monthly or every other month and increase those numbers.
When's your next outreach?
Well, our next outreach, we're going to do something in November.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be an exceptional special event that we are going to participate in. It's getting out in the community and providing a Thanksgiving meal and a backpack. And hopefully we'll have coats and sweaters and blankets, socks, and those type of items that we can also give out to our people.
So is that what you were talking about earlier for this specific
Yes.
event? So
Yes.
where do they drop it off at? When or where do
It can be dropped off at 249 East Randall Avenue, right here in Rialto.
and that's the church
Yes, it is.
of
It's Greater Faith Grace Bible Church.
yes, I'm familiar with that church.
Yeah, you've done a lot of work in that church. We love having the opportunity to have you there. Now, do you miss being a full-time employee?
I do not.
So tell me, what was the best part of your job?
Well, the best part of my job was assisting others. Although I used to tell my staff this all the time because we're administration, so we work behind the scenes to ensure things are going, that they get the funding. And we also were support division, so we supported the departments that helped the community. So, they got to get a paycheck, so our payroll was doing that. We had training, so we trained the staff. Where I'm just trying to think of all the divisions, our auditing divisions of all those contracts that went out. We would make sure that they were spending it correctly, accurately,
Absolutely,
keeping track of their
absolutely.
records.
Yeah.
So we were behind the scenes. We made sure that those that have served the community were able to do their jobs, and we did all that red tape stuff, contracts, purchase orders, training, payroll, everything.
The job that nobody sees being done.
Exactly. That
But-
keeps the wheels turning.
Absolutely.
Right.
The job you still do.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I had the same thing on my mind right now.
That's where I like to be, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful that you are in the area that you're in, with the free laptops and giving people resources to help
Yes.
them, empower them, you know, so
Yes.
that they can know what's going on in the world as well.
Yeah.
You know?
I liked how the doors opened up for me in the city of Rialto. That
Good.
was a true blessing because there was some vendor in my city said, "Hey, why don't you come out to Rialto? I know somebody that all the vendors and the community can use that." And they said to reach out to Barbara here in the city of Rialto, and I did, and I've been coming ever since.
Barbara McGee is awesome.
Yes.
We need to say that. Barbara
Yes.
is
And
the
we're
bomb.
here every Wednesday at the farmers market
So
from
people
10
can
to
come
2.
out
So
here.
people can come out here
Yeah.
to get their tablets. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And Mary, thank you for the wonderful work that you're doing with
Thank
Greater
you.
Faith, Grace Bible Church Compassion Outreach. It's amazing. Thank you so much for being here. And Kimberly Anthony will be here next month, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So until then, thank you so much, and blessings to all of you. Bye-bye.